If you're a woman in retail looking to grow your career, connect with industry leaders, and recharge in a supportive community, the Women in Retail Leadership Summit is the event for you. And to all of our male listeners, if you know an amazing female colleague who would benefit from this experience, be sure to pass the word along. Happening at the beautiful Ritz-Carlton Amelia Island on April 28th through the 30th, registration is now open at womeninretailsummit.com.
Hi, everyone. I'm Melissa Campanelli, the co-founder of Women in Retail Leadership Circle, a membership-based community of executive women at leading retailers and brands. We're excited to be here at the NRF Big Show in New York City with Karen Beebe, the Chief Technology Officer at Bealls, Inc., and a Retail Voices honoree, who is going to chat with us about her takeaways from the NRF event, including the emerging technology trends she's tracking, her career journey, her thoughts on innovation, and so much more. Welcome, Karen.
Hello, how are you?
I'm good.
Great.
Good to see you.
Thank you for having me here.
Oh, no problem. So happy to have you here. As part of the Retail Voices program at the Big Show this year, what are your top takeaways from the event so far?
It's been, this is the biggest show, I think, if I'm understanding correctly.
Yeah.
And and globally. I've seen so many more global retailers here. So that's been exciting.
Yes, definitely.
And being part of Retail Voices has provided me an opportunity to stay a little bit even more in the know about what's going on at NRF.
Interesting.
So that's been exciting to stay all connected to our Retail Voice, the group of Retail Voices. And so what I've seen so far is, of course, AI.
Of course,
AI. Everyone's talking about AI. And a lot of personalization, and then also tying in online and in-store, that really seamless journey, but really making it real. So let me jump to AI first.
Sure.
Because on AI, it's been more about the conversation of practical application. So, we were all talking about last year, but now you're actually seeing it in practical application with retailers and how they're using it and how they're bringing it into life. And so it's not it's going to completely, you're not changing the entire landscape immediately. It's truly evolving. So it's been the conversation about how to really evolve AI into your business. And when we were at a meeting earlier, Martha Heller was talking through it. This was a CIO council, NRF CIO council.
Wow.
And she was talking through some pieces of AI and defined it in a way that was really interesting.
Oh.
She called it the FOMO AI. So it's that where you're trying to do something so quick, you actually may be introducing too much risk if you feel like you have to jump on the AI bandwagon. And then she talked about commercial AI, which every vendor is saying they're commercially putting AI, or they all have AI in their product, but really? So that's been a question. And then enterprise AI, where you're truly changing the way that you're operating in your business. So it was a great perspective to give, and I think a lot of people are in that FOMO stage.
Yeah, I think that's a really interesting way to put it. I feel like last year it was sort of like a big shiny object when people talked about AI, but this year you're actually seeing case studies and examples which you can then use, in your business. So I think it's a good evolution.
Yes.
Sounds like it's a good evolution.
Yes.
So let's jump ahead and talk a little bit about your career. Can you talk about some highlights, some of your background, and then sort of how you ended up at Bealls?
Yes, I had the opportunity to actually grow up in retail at The Limited, it was called. Then it was Limited Brands, and it was L Brands. So I got to work across so many different cultures and education, and seeing leaders and knowing what to do, but also knowing what not to do. And learn everything there is about retail, because we got exposed to so many different areas. And then from there, had the opportunity to go to Chico's FAS, and that was with Chico's and White House Black Market in Soma. And then from there, Vineyard Vines, where I had the opportunity to actually lead the technology organization. But also at Vineyard Vines, at one point in time, I had the opportunity to lead e-com for a period of time and lead the supply chain organization. And that was during COVID. So that was impactful. And that was really stretching myself to a place where I'd never been before, and really going after that and trying to allow those opportunities to come to you when they're present, and actually saying, yes, I can do this and make it, and move forward.
Yeah, I would love to dig into that a little bit. As you've mentioned, you've held leadership roles during pivotal moments, heading e-commerce during COVID. I mean, are there any specific lessons that you can share that you took away from navigating such challenges?
Yes. There are 3 things that I still stay with me right now today that are, how do I be at my best? How do I really make sure I'm understanding and developing those key relationships and moving those forward? And how do I believe in myself?
Wow.
And those 3 things, and they have a lot more detail underneath them, but that just really during COVID and having those key relationships where you could count on someone and they had your back and you worked together, because you're in almost crisis mode at that point in time and you need to operate so quickly. And if you do not have those relationships established before then, it's not going to help you move things forward. And those 3 things are just,
it's amazing that in some way, I mean, I don't want to say this, but it's amazing how in some ways it's a positive what you went through, because you learned about yourself as a leader and you were able to get through it, with success. So that's kind of cool. I would love to stay on the leadership topic. At one point, I remember reading something where you mentioned the importance of people and leadership when you're driving innovation at a company. What do you mean by that? And can you share maybe an example of how this philosophy has shaped a recent project at Bealls?
Yeah, just even recently at Bealls. Bealls has, so now I'm at Bealls, which is, I'm very excited to be there. And it's a company that we have 3 brands, Bealls Florida, and Home Centric. We have over 650 stores, and of course we have our websites. And it is a company that has a culture like no other that I've been to.
Wow.
And they've even been, and with the leadership through Matt Bell, he's really brought values to the forefront and defining them in such a way that it helps how you operate. So tying it back to what you were asking me, when you're looking for the innovation, it's all about grabbing the great ideas from everyone. And if you can be open and transparent and feel like you have a voice, and that your voice is going to be met with compassion, then you have openness enough to share your idea. So you may be someone who doesn't feel comfortable, sharing it in front of a large audience or a group of people, and that now with just having that cultural value, you now have an opportunity to share your idea. Let's get it out there and let's work through it. That's going to get you the innovation you're looking for, not, saying, okay, let's sit in a room and let's all with
leaders.
Yes, exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
It's more about getting the whole community of the company involved. That's where you hear about the innovation. And then it's I guess it's up to the leaders to figure out what's most important and then bring it to fruition.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yes.
So let's talk more about your role as the CTO of Bealls. What strategies have been most effective in overseeing integrating technology in such a large omni-channel retail organization? Because I know you've replatformed many times. So what are the key drivers there?
Yes, I know that I had shared with you that we have been on a legacy modernization because we are almost 110-year-old company, which is so amazing.
Wow.
Right? In this time.
Yes.
When other retailers are not continuing to grow, and we're continuing to grow, and even with our longevity, and it's family owned, and so I think that in the culture I was sharing with you, and I think that's what keeps it going. And we have been working through changing out our solutions, our systems, so that we are more on the modern technology. And even with our website, we had 2 different systems. We replatformed into one system, and then we actually took that one and said, we need one that actually adds more functionality for our guest. And so we replatformed, but at a lower cost.
Wow.
And so we replatformed into that new solution. And that's really starting to tie a little bit more with what guests are. They want to look at things online and then come into your physical store to get that great customer service or guest service. And so really, that's what I'm seeing here at NRF, and tying that back of it's been a lot of conversation of that online and in-store journey and how to make it so that the guest can get whatever they want when they want it and get the information. A lot of also has been about making sure they're seeing the information about the product that they're purchasing. And so we're also on that journey.
Yeah, that's amazing. You said earlier as well, one of the things you're noticing at the show here is that there's a lot of technologies for enabling omni-channel retail, really allowing for seamless online, offline integration. Could you talk a little bit about Bealls' sort of next steps, or is there something that you could talk about that you're planning to make customers' expectations across channels even more integrated or seamless?
Well, we are continuing to ensure that when our guest is searching for the product that they want, that they can get it quickly, easily, and understand where it is. So we're on that journey. And the other piece that we're working on that's really big is working through to allow our associates to have more information when they need it and at their fingertips, and how they can understand even when and where they should be in the store and which area they're working, and working through more from that perspective, which if you can get your associate into a place, then they can better service the guest.
That's actually a trend I've been noticing here at NRF, the importance of I've spoken to several people about the importance of the salesperson or the associate in the retail store, and how they're becoming more empowered. And I think that's a smart thing, because they're the ones that are in touch with the customers.
Yes, they're right there. And they need everything that they can have, right, to easily get to answer the guest question, right, to make it easy for them. Right. And of course, we're on that journey, so it's not there, but that is what we're working towards.
Yeah. Awesome. So I'd love to talk to you about another topic, which is advice. So we always like to end our podcast with actionable advice for our listeners. You are a C-suite leader in the technology part of retail. So what would be some advice, or 3 pieces of advice, if possible, that you could give to women listening who are aspiring to leadership roles in technology and retail?
I'm going to go back to what I said earlier, okay? It is believe in yourself. And I know that's an easy thing to say, but what I mean by that is, you allow a voice in your head sometimes to tell you, oh, you shouldn't say that, or no, don't speak up. You're actually quieting yourself down without, hey, I should speak up. I want to be bold, and I want to share my knowledge, and stop constraining yourself. Stop limiting yourself, because you're the only one who's limiting yourself. So believe in yourself and move forward. That's one piece. The second piece is relationships are key. And I know that sounds so simple, right? Okay, relationships are key. Yes, we've heard that a million times. What I mean is relationships at a company. Are you really making a relationship? Are you really to the point where you know that partner, your peer, is actually going to support you when you're going through the hard time, when the company's going through a hard time? Are they really that level 3 relationship? Or are they at a place where you're, hey, yeah, I know who you are. I know what you do, but that's about it. So how do you make those relationships? And I'm talking at the peer level. Yes, at the top if you can, right? You want to do it at the top. You want to do it at the peer level. And you want to be that way with your directs as well. So how do you truly know? Are you really listening? Or did you just walk by this hall? Yeah, I'm okay. Yeah, you okay? Yeah, thank you. Are you really listening? And then the third piece is be at your best. Truly be at your best and be present. And if you're not at your best, know when you're not. Have awareness when you're not at your best.
That's important.
And then sometimes, maybe you cancel a meeting because you're not at your best and you're not going to be listening. And it's okay to do that, right? If you're in a place where you may be sad or you're upset or you're depressed or you're angry or like you're in these lower mood states, then maybe it's not the right time to have a one-on-one associate career counseling session with somebody. Right?
So true.
So how do you have that awareness in yourself that says, I want to be my best when I'm at this meeting, so have the awareness and put yourself there. Mm-hmm. Or if you need to, sometime to get yourself really up in a higher mood state to be at your best, go to grateful. Get grateful. When you sit back sometimes and you get really grateful, it takes you into a place where you actually can appreciate and you're like, wow, I am here in the best, and I'm in a great place.
Right. I love that. Sort of like taking a moment for gratitude or grateful. I love that. That's great. I love it. Well, actually, before we end, I would love to let our listeners know that they can learn more about Bealls and about Karen's journey on a podcast that you had mentioned earlier.
Yes. Our CEO and leader, Matt Bell, has a podcast called Matt Bell Legacy, and it talks about Bealls and Bealls Inc. And he has different leaders and different team members on. And I'm on episode 19. So please listen to us. You can go to YouTube and you just look up Matt Bell, Beall, Legacy. And it's Bell, not Bealls. Yeah. Yeah, it's Bell. It's Bell. So okay. Yes, thank you.
That's awesome. Yeah, I'm definitely going to check it out. I'd love to learn more. It sounds like a great company. And you're a great leader, Karen. And thank you so much for being a part of our community and for taking the time out at NRF for the podcast.
Thank you for having me. Thank you.
Thanks for listening. For more information on this podcast, please go to womeninretail.com/podcasts for show notes. Women in Retail Talks is available on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, and Spotify. Make sure to subscribe on our podcast channel page as well. If you've enjoyed this episode, please take a few moments to rate and review our show. Lastly, if you're a female retail leader interested in joining our community at Women in Retail Leadership Circle, visit womeninretail.com/apply. Thanks, and until next time, this has been Women in Retail Talks.
Female retail leaders, join us at the Women in Retail Leadership Summit from April 28th through the 30th at the Ritz-Carlton, Amelia Island, Florida. It's 3 days of insights, networking, and inspiration. Male listeners, share this with your female colleagues. Register at womeninretailsummit.com.